morning, and thank you very much for coming to Borobudur Hotel that celebrates 42 years this year. This is actually my residence. This is where I lived for the last couple of years. I would like to express my appreciation to the General Manager, Mr. Patrick Beck, and the staff of the Borobudur Hotel, Madame Indira, and other people that made this interview in this beautiful surrounding of Churchill Bar in Hotel Borobudur possible. I come from Croatia, from Central European country, mid-sized country with some 90,000 square kilometers. A country that belongs to the Mediterranean basin, to the Danube region, and as well to the Central European region. The shape of Croatia is the shape of a croissant or the horseshoe. If you want to drive from one side of Croatia to the further south part of Croatia, it will take a long time. Even though on the world map, if you want to find Croatia, it will be a little bit difficult because the size of the country is relatively small. We are 4.5 million people only, so let's say maybe half of Jakarta. But there you would find a lot of interesting things, talking about sports, talking about inventors, talking about long history, talking about cultural or natural heritage. I believe most of you learned about Croatian national team. That is a very famous team in European and world area. We are also very good in other sports like basketball, like water polo, handball, individual sports like tennis, like skiing, and so on. Through the history, Croatia had many famous inventors. From there come a parachute, torpedo, mechanical pen, airship, which later became Zeppelin, and many other very famous inventions. I would like to mention also two people that had the birthplace in Croatia, one of them being Marco Polo, famous Venetian who later came to Asia, to China and back. And another one is famous inventor Nikola Tesla, who invented the wireless transmission of power and many other inventions in the electric area. So the cultural heritage of Croatia is very rich. Also the natural heritage. We have around 10 intangible heritage protected by UNESCO. And also when you say Croatia, somebody would say, oh, this is very fresh, very new nation. But actually Croatia was already kingdom in 10th century, and afterwards struggling for independence all the way until 1990s, when Croatia became an independent nation. In 1992, Croatia became a UN member, in 2009 NATO member, and in 2013 Croatia became EU member state. Nowadays, if I want to draw a parallel between Croatia and Indonesia, actually I would say two beautiful countries, two archipelagos. Indonesia is archipelago of 17,500 islands. Croatia is a little bit less. We have only 1,200 islands, which makes a big attraction for tourism. Croatia GDP makes a little bit over 17% out of tourism industry. As I mentioned, we are only 4.5 million people, and we receive roughly 15 million tourists per year. So tourism is very important for our economy. One part of this economy is also wine producing. Croatia is very famous for its wines. Croatia belongs to old world wine producers such as Spain, Italy, France, and so on. And wine basically, or wine culture, makes big part of Croatian cultural heritage. In Croatia, the country of 4.5 million people, you would find 17,000 individual wine producers. So roughly, I would say, a relatively big number. Out of this 17,000, you would find many indigenous varieties of wine production. More than 2,500 different wines, or 800 autochthonous wines produced from autochthonous wine in Croatia. Basically, if I mentioned some of the names, it would be unknown for you, or maybe very difficult to follow or to pronounce. This is, I would say, our problem. When I say Grk, Maraština, Pošip, Debit, Žlahtina, these are all autochthonous Croatian wines that are well known in Croatia and in European countries, I would say maybe even wider, United States, Japan, and so on. But the problem is, I would say, the quantity. The quality is absolutely there. Croatian wines can be measured with the top producers, top wine producers in the world. The only thing we lack is quantity. The quantity meaning that we are not present on the world market, on the wine world market. And another thing is brands. As I mentioned some of the names of our wines, of course these wines and these names are very unknown to you. And this is where we have to do a lot to establish good brands on world market in order to introduce Croatian wines to wider area, not only regional area in Europe or some countries like United States that import a lot of European wine, but we would like to come also to the market of Indonesia and the other Southeast European countries. Cheese in Croatia is produced out of goat, out of cow milk, with very high quality. As I mentioned, Croatia is the country that is shape of horseshoe or croissant. We have the area that is, we call it coastal area, where we have Mediterranean climate. And northern part of Croatia is a continental part, where there we have continental climate. So climate directs the production of cheeses as well, where you have different brands, different tastes from different regions in Croatia. Cheese being exported to many countries in Europe. Cheese is nowadays, I would say, you have so many individual small producers with very, very high quality, but also we do have big producers that can supply the wider markets of cheese. Wine and Cheese Expo I visited for the first time 2 years ago. I was positively surprised to see so many varieties of cheeses and wines there from different countries. This is a big gathering actually, and ever since I visited there first time, I said we have to participate there. And we were present there last year with our cheese and wine. Afterwards, we actually established some cooperation with some of Indonesian companies here. But general idea is to introduce our culture, first of all, to introduce a variety of our wines and cheese. And then a lot of Indonesian public who visit the expo, they found the high quality of our products, and they were looking forward to establish relations with the Croatian producers in order to introduce our products to Indonesian markets. So I would be very happy to participate this year. We are organizing now the producers to come to Expo, and we will be very happy to be part of the Expo 2016. I would like to mention that Croatia and Indonesia are long-lasting friends since long time in history. If you visit, and more Indonesians are visiting Croatia as tourists, as business people and so on, when they visit there, they find really friendly people. They find people who know a lot about Indonesia. They find people who are warm-hearted, who are welcoming, and who are very happy to have Indonesia in Croatia. More and more Croatian tourists are coming to Indonesia. It's not only Bali. When I go home, I talk to the people and I say Indonesia is not only Bali. There are thousands of Balis in Indonesia, so please feel free to come and visit. You will find friendly nation, you will find friendly people, and you will really enjoy beautiful nature, beautiful culture, heritage, warm-hearted people that are welcoming you. Thank you. See, one of the inventions that was made in Croatia and that millions of business people wear every day is basically a necktie. Necktie that I'm having today has also something else that is also originated from Croatia, that are Dalmatian dogs. Coastal part of Croatia is called Dalmatia. So Dalmatian dogs originated from Croatia. So necktie and Dalmatian dogs, this is what I'm holding, is actually typical Croatian product, we call it this way. And I would like to make toast for the necktie and for the Indonesian and Croatian friendship. Cheers. Or in Croatian, živjeli.